There are about 16.2 million people over age 65 who are living alone in the US. This is not a global number, and you are part of that number. But are you aware of the full implication of being alone in retirement? That's the topic we want to address today in Wisdom Living. Welcome. I'm Maggie Lazar. I am a retired nurse practitioner, and I have been here in Panama, retired almost 3 years now. All right, this is a quick conversation. In the US, 33% of those 16.2 million who are living alone in retirement are women. And once you reach age 675 and up, it goes to 43%. Almost half of the people who are retired at that age are alone. Do you really understand what that means, the impact? As a medical person, I can tell you, you get to a certain age, it's like everything starts to go down, right? To go south. Figuratively, really go south. So lots of joint replacement, things happening, cancer, heart attack, stroke, all the stuff. And the danger of being alone is that you may not have someone available to provide the assistance that you need. You may not have the person available, and if they're available, you may not be able to pay them, or you may not have family members. All right, let's look at some of the reasons why people end up being alone when they hit age 65. Number one, we're living longer, right? 80, 90, 100-year-old, you stop working at 65, so that means 35 more years you're living, and you know you're gonna need some kind of help. Those joints are gonna start acting up. You're going to have a few surgeries. Smaller family size. A lot of us don't believe in having a whole little football team anymore. We've had 2 or 3 kids. And out of the 2 or 3, how many of them are able and willing to provide help? I have 3 kids, I can tell you. Maybe my daughter, I can kind of sort of count on her, but it's not a guarantee anymore. What are some of the factors? Men, we know, are living, they're dying younger than women. So a lot more women are widowed, being alone. And also the family structure that I talked about in another video, that sense of isolation, that I can do it all. I don't need people around me. And you kids, when you get to be 18, you're out of here. So we self-isolate. We created this partly. All right. So demographics are is a big factor. So knowing that we have all these seniors who are alone, and I can tell you from my personal experience when I own a home care company that a lot of people are living alone and not well. They should not be living alone. I had on many occasions had to call Adult Protective Services because an adult was not safe. They didn't have anybody to care for them. There was no food in the house, but they were not able to go get food. This is not like here where you have food deliveries here and there, and if you do have it, you may not be able to afford it. Many times I went into my patient's home, I opened the refrigerator and it's empty. People had to make choices. Do I buy medications or do I eat? And if you live in a part of the country where there is, it's cold, you know how many of them would just be so cold because they can't afford to warm the house. So growing old is a scary population, but growing old alone is even scarier. And I want to impress upon you what that means for you. So also in the sense that women live longer, a little caveat, we live longer because we go to the doctor, right? You know your husband doesn't like to go to the doctor, your brother, your cousin. And if the doctor gives us medication, we take it, we're compliant. With the guys, not so much. So this is something that has been plaguing society, that women live longer than men. We are more, we connect more. Men can play golf, but I don't know that they're as good as us at creating community. You know, you get a few women together, we sit there, we're not doing anything, chit-chatting. Yeah, we gossip sometimes. But we're able to connect more than the guys. This is what makes us who we are. And it's a basic difference between men and women. And for that reason, the life expectancy has pretty much been different. Men, I think in US is 75.8 years in 2023 on the average. For women, it's 81.1 years. So we live about 5, 6 more years than the average guy. So that means for us, as we aging, we have to plan for longer. So now that I've impressed upon you the realities of why people in general are living longer, but why women tend to be, have the larger number of us living alone. So when it says 32% of women are living alone out of the 16.2 million, only 22% of men in that group are living alone because there are more of us. That's why I used to visit this assisted living facility, and they maybe had like 2 men in there for like 60 women. He had to pick of the litter. I'm telling you. I mean, hey, yes, that's the reality. And even in the younger demographics, you know how it is. Black women really can't find men because there are more of us sitting here, available. And I guess it's the same in retirement. Okay, so let's get going because I have an appointment coming up, and I look at the clock and I was like, oh my God. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm just going to tell you that because if you love me, you're going to subscribe, right? And if you don't, it's okay, sis. I still love you. I still love you. You can still watch. You can still watch. So being the person that I am, we're looking at opportunities in retirement as we age alone. And the title that says Untold Truth. So hopefully I made you understand why women are living longer and why people are aging alone because of the factors that we mentioned before. We live longer, lower number of children, telling the kids, get out, I want to be by myself. You want to be independent. So let's do a SWOT analysis. I'm a SWOT kind of gal, right? Strength, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities and threats. So we're going to do the opportunities at the end. We're going to flip it a bit. But what are some of the strengths of women? Let's just stick to women right now because this is a women's group channel. We're more resilient. Do I need to explain that to you? Menstruation, cramps, the whole monthly thing that we had to deal with. You boys, men, never had to deal with that. Babies. I know in the interior, some women can just squat and, drop a baby. I wasn't like that. Most of us, we weren't like that. I mean, it's pain and discomfort, swollen ankles, and all the stuff that we deal with. Then we become caregivers. We take care of you, man, the kids, the house, the job, the neighbor, your parents, my parents, caregiving. Then dealing with all the stuff at work. Because, someone said that the Black woman is the most hated person in this generation because the expectation and the weight that we have to carry is crazy. So by the time we retire, we are exhausted. We're worn out. because of all the pressures and all the responsibilities that we've had. And you know what? I could tell you that we have it the worst in the West, in the US, but I can tell you that would be a lie. It's everywhere. It's global. That paternalistic notion that men are better than women, it's pervasive. It's not just where you are, sis. I watch a lot of Asian drama, OMG. Yes, you think you have it bad. Every time a woman opens her mouth, a slapping, choking, kicking. The sexual abuse of young girls, we're dealing with that here in Panama and everywhere else. Human trafficking, women having to sell themselves to feed their kids, prostitution. Listen, we are survivors. From the time of slavery, who kept it together? Who had to hold the family together? All right. So we are trained. We have that strength of we can do it. You know, when they say if you want something done, ask a woman. It's not hyperbole. It is true. We are mastered at multitasking. And we show up every day with a smile and we keep doing it. We can build community. We know how to relate to people. Now, it's not smooth sailing all the time. Even here in SWOT, you know, you got little wrinkles. But I'm just so tried and tested that I can handle it. But we are masters at creating community, at multitasking, keeping it together, dealing and caring for each other because we are born caregivers. So those are strengths from us in retirement. What are some weaknesses? Financial is a big one. You know, because of the paternalistic society, societal, whatever I mentioned earlier, we make less money than you guys, than the guys. Even if we are smarter, even as smart, why do you think we're still fighting? We're only getting paid 63 cents to a dollar. That's never going to go away, I don't think. The past election, it's the way of the world. So we retire with less money than you guys because a lot of us were not in the workplace or we worked only a few hours, a few years. So we don't accumulate as much. A lot of us were single parent. Single parent cannot, you know, save a lot of money. And there was something on social media yesterday with this preacher, this little single woman bought this much and he didn't think it was enough and he just put it on blast. And I'm like, OMG. Yes, I'm not going to say his name. So the weaknesses, financial pressures, not having enough money in retirement, have a smaller Social Security. We're worn out. Those are weaknesses. Our bodies are not strong. We have debt, and we're overworked. All right. So let's keep the opportunities to the last point. How about some threats? Well, financial threats, Social Security threats. If something happens to this program, what are we going to do? We're going to address that in opportunities, but that's a threat. Our bodies are worn out, so we have more diseases and autoimmune disease, lupus, people who had COVID, long COVID, diabetes, anxiety, depression, dementia. And you know, even though the guys die sooner than us, we tend to be more frail and we don't do as well with those diseases. Like after you had a stroke or a heart attack or dementia, women do worse. Because of, I think, because of all the stuff we've had to carry, we've been stressed out of our mind. And the isolation, you know, you've sent the kids out. You told the kids to go to California and go out of the country to make something out of themselves. So you don't see them. And some of us do not have a relationship with our kids. And the isolation is not just children, it could be familial. How many times you hear, oh, you have a sister? Oh, yeah, we haven't spoken in 30 years. Isolation. No bueno. And then because we're living longer, that is a threat. I mean, if I were to retire and I said, okay, I'm going to live 15 years and I'm going to kick the bucket, no. This day and age, no, we will die. We're going to die in our 90s. So how are we going to live for those 35 years? How are we going to live? Who's going to take care of us? We need to get rid of that notion that we want somebody to take care of us that is a family member. It may not be. You're going to have to create that. And that takes us to opportunities. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm just telling you. And I don't want this video to be a long one. Oh, it's going to be a good one today. Not very long at all. But hopefully this is what I call it again. We call it wisdom living. Wisdom living. This is the day, the time where I want you to think. On Mondays, I talk about Panama, everything Panama, how to move to Panama. You know, now everybody's talking about scouting. It's like amazing how we all do the same thing in the same lifespan. But on Mondays, I do all that. On Thursday, I want you to put your, on Thursdays, I want you to put your thinking cap on. And you know, whenever you see me wearing a hat, don't ask. Oh my goodness. So, opportunities. What are the opportunities for us women living an average of 30, 40 years after retirement? How are we going to do that? What is it going to look like? This is where SWOT comes in. Single women retiring abroad. And I say it in every video. Our ultimate goal is to recreate a model of aging that is sustainable and affordable abroad, wherever we can afford it, wherever our little Social Security can take us. That's where we go. So, what are some opportunities? You need to join SWOT. If you are in a you are an older woman and you are here in Panama and you want to spend the rest of your days in Panama. No, you're not a snowbird here and there. You're committed to this place. We want you to join us because it's going to take time to create community. And I go out of my way to make sure these relationships are not superficial. They have to be intimate and you have to be committed to caring for each other. It's a sisterhood. And I mean it in the nicest way, in the deepest way. Volunteering, my God, in our group, we have such talent. We need to create opportunities where we can bring our younger sisters up. We need to, that's what the Bible says, right? The older women should teach the younger women if they want to be taught, you know, because you got some of them who think they know it all. We don't have time for that. Those who want to learn, we want to be uh, proactive in creating programs where we can share and, you know, whatever we know, whatever we cherish, whatever we've learned, we want to share it, right? Volunteering. A new career. Some of us are embarking on new careers, you know, things that you love to do. What is it? Gifts that you've had. But when you were younger, you were committed to just bringing home the bacon and making sure your kids are fed and that you pay the mortgage and college fund. Well, now you're free. So you're free to explore those special gifts that God has given you. Some sisters are into sewing. This girl is into art. Some people are into event planning. Some people have administrative, skills, and we are creating new careers. Those are opportunities for us. Yes, we are alone. So you can be in your little space, and I love being alone. There's a lady on, I don't know if she's on TikTok, but I think I've seen her. I'm not on TikTok. I've seen her on Facebook. She's got over 100,000 subscribers. She talks about introverts, and she has created her whole audience and program and channel around that. And she's only talking about the positive aspect of living alone. I absolutely adore being by myself, but I know as I continue to live this long retirement life that I need to be in community. So I'm not ignoring that fact. And I'm not saying that I cannot be alone, but I can still have my alone time in community. You can. All right. So we talked about volunteering, a new career. Some sisters are looking to find a partner. I'm not, but some sisters are dating, and that's an opportunity because who says you can't? Some people like to reach and find a warm body. I think this lady said, if I'm cold, I'm going to get another blanket. All right, guys, don't come at me. I'm just saying the sister said that. I didn't say that, okay? So there are opportunities. Co-living is a huge concept. We have not really tapped into it that much here at SWRA, but I think that's something that is definitely, I mean, not all co-living will look alike. My idea of co-living is different. And I think it's something that is definitely I need to pursue just so that we can address the issues that are affecting our sisters in retirement. Okay, so now we've done our SWOT analysis. Those truths about living alone in retirement, are you fully engaged in addressing and taking care of business to prepare for these? Remember, I'm telling you, 65, you could live 35, 40 years. You need to have that mindset that you're looking at that length of time. If you only live 10 of those 30, 40 years, I don't have a magic wand. I don't know when your number is going to be called. I don't know when my number is going to be called. But we need to move with intention. We need to move as if we were going to live to be 30, 40 years. That means keeping ourselves healthy. I do that and I tell you all the time, don't wait till you get a diagnosis to start taking care of yourself. Get off the couch, move, go. Eat well. Make sure you get enough sleep. Drink your water. Get rid of the alcohol. Oh my God. Okay. I don't want to sound like a broken record. Take care of yourself. Get your vaccines or whatever. If you're an anti-vax, you don't need to be watching my videos, okay? Have a good relationship with your doctor. Look at your budget, financial. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses. I'm gonna try to have a sister come to us about investing, trading, or something so we can make a little extra point. Those of us who need to. Watch your budget. Don't live to impress. You don't need to buy clothes and fancy shoes. Who needs that? You don't need to be going out 3, 4 times a week either, sis. Eat at home. Explore new career opportunities. Because even if it's not just for money, but I believe keeping yourself engaged in teaching, researching, setting goals. I told you there's a recent study that says the seniors, those who are in retirement and can set goals and plan, they have a lower incidence of cognitive decline. And this is your worst enemy, sis. It's not the joint replacement. You can go get another hip. You can go get another knee. You can get another shoulder. You can't get a new brain. When that one goes, so do whatever you can to keep it strong and healthy. What you're putting in your body, you're feeding your brain. Moving helps your brain. Planning, dreaming, creating helps your brain. So don't sit somewhere and say, oh, I'm retired. I don't want to do anything but go to lunch here and there. Well, good luck with that, sis. Let's see how long that's going to go. It's not a way to be vibrant. That doesn't bring vibrancy to your life. You're just eating bad food. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox, right? So opportunities, getting involved, volunteering, a new career, building sisterhood. Because there was this one story, I'm going to finish with that. I had a patient when I did home health who was a caregiver to her husband, like a lot of Caucasian people take care of their family, not just Caucasian, in the former prior generation, they took care of their families and they didn't have jobs. Not just Caucasian. I take that back. But as they got older, once this person died, this particular woman, her husband passed, like a lot of guys do. And I just told you, they kick the bucket before we do. They don't like to go to the doctor, and then they smoke and alcohol and anyway. But when her husband died, she was lost. She was lost. It's like, what is the purpose for my life now? I don't have him to take care of. I mean, she ironed his pants, his underwear. I cooked him food. That was the essence of her life. I can't relate to that very well, but that's what she did. So she was lost. And then she became one of those 33% who was going to live alone in retirement in her older years. And then we watch as her condition deteriorated, you know, the isolation, the missing the husband. And you and I know that many times if one spouse goes, the other one follows rather quickly. In some instances, not all the time. But she was on her way because she didn't have a purpose. We need a purpose. I need a purpose. So the social worker came to me and she said, well, you know, we need to do something because she's just waning. I said, well, you know, she's a caregiver. She's a caretaker. She needs someone to take care of. How about signing her up for the adult daycare? That way we get her out of the house. So we arranged for the bus to come pick her up. And she went into that adult daycare and she just kind of switched into caregiver mode. She started caring for the other attendees, people who needed some help eating. She started feeding them. If they were doing arts and crafts, she went in there, sit there. After about 2 months or so, she was a new person. And I went to visit her. She said, oh, I'm so happy. I can't wait to go because I get to help Evelyn and so and so and so and so. She got purpose. Sis, you need purpose in retirement. I'm telling you this in love, that if you don't have a new purpose, you're going to shrivel up and go. And it's not a good way to go. It's not a good way. You need an anchor, just like in these days that we are living right now. There is a lot that we can't control, but my job in coming to you on Thursdays is to say, sis, I got you. We cannot just put our head down and just give up and die. We still have to be connected. We still have to create. We still have to set goals. We still have to have purpose. And that's what we need to do in community, in retirement, as we are alone. So I hope you enjoyed this talk. Alone in retirement, untold stories. Are you ready? Are you preparing? Are you creating a new life for you in this alone retirement life that is awaiting you? And we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You might meet a billionaire who's going to sweep you off your feet. And don't forget to make a donation to SWOT. If that happens. But anyway, I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? I have to go. Oh, I got to go Uber to that place. We were supposed to meet these girls in about 15 minutes. Wow. Okay. But thank you so much for watching. So I'm going to have to edit this video later on. It needs to go out. So when I come back, I will put it out. And I hope you're enjoying this wisdom living videos. I want to make you think. Next week, we're going to talk about more emotional stuff and how we navigate these treacherous times that we're living in. All right? God loves you. You know I love you. I'll see you next week. Au revoir, à la prochaine. Bye-bye.